On a far human colony world, the kingdom moved through another quiet morning. The sun rose slowly over the stone walls of the capital, painting the sky in soft colors. People walked through the streets with calm steps, trying to ignore the tension that had been growing for weeks. Rumors of attacks came from the outer villages, and everyone feared the next day. Inside the tall castle, the young human princess named Lily stood near her window. She watched the soldiers gather in the courtyard. Every man stood in straight lines, armor shining in the early light. The royal guard wanted new soldiers to protect the princess because danger was getting close. Lily looked at the lines of men, but her eyes were tired and unsure. She did not like choosing people only for show. She wanted real courage, not loud words. Alex stood in the back row. He was tall but calm, and he never pushed forward like others. He came from a quiet family in a small farming town. He had joined the guard not for glory, but because he wanted to protect the kingdom. He did not know the princess was watching him. His hands stayed still, his eyes focused ahead. He felt the heavy air around him, but did not move. Lily walked down to the courtyard with her guard. The soldiers lifted their heads. Some tried to look brave, others proud, but Lily did not care for big gestures. She moved slowly in front of the rows, studying every face. When she passed to Alex, she noticed how steady he was. He was not shaking or bragging. He did not look at her with bold eyes. He looked forward, calm like the morning. She felt something strange. Not excitement, not surprise. Something like quiet trust. She did not understand it yet. Later that day, the council met in the grand hall. The council members filled the room with strict voices. They talked about danger, patrols, defense lines, and plans. Lily listened, but felt disconnected. She thought about the soldiers she saw. She remembered Alex standing still without trying to impress anyone. Outside the castle walls, the border villages struggled. Small attacks came at night. People whispered about shadows moving through forests. Soldiers were being sent out more often. The kingdom needed strong people who cared for others. Alex was assigned to a new patrol team and told to prepare for a long watch near the outer paths. He packed his gear with slow, careful hands. He did not complain. He did not act proud. He just did what he was asked to do. That evening, the princess stood on the balcony, watching the patrol leave the capital. She saw Alex walking with the group. The sky was turning dark, and torches lit the road. She felt a small pull inside her chest. She wondered why she kept noticing him. The night grew heavy, but Alex felt calm. He walked through the forest trail. His team trusted his steady way of speaking and his simple but strong mind. He listened to every sound. He watched every shadow. Far behind him, Lily could not sleep. Oh. She walked through the quiet halls. She tried not to think too much, but her mind returned again and again to the same thought. Among all the soldiers, only one face stayed clear in her memory. The next morning, the council prepared for another review of soldiers. Lily stood near the doorway, listening to the council talk about noble families and strategic marriages. They wanted her to choose a partner for political reasons. She felt cold inside. None of them understood that she did not want a man chosen for her. She wanted someone strong in spirit, not rank. When she stepped outside again, she saw the soldiers training. Her eyes moved across the field. She did not know what she expected to see. But then she saw Alex again, who was helping a young soldier fix his stance. Alex moved slow, patient, and without pride. Lily felt the same quiet trust return. She did not know why. She could not explain it. But she understood one thing clearly. She had noticed him because he was different. He was not chasing her attention. He was not pretending to be someone else. And somewhere deep inside, she knew this was only the beginning of something she could not stop now. Alex walked with his patrol through the tall trees that bordered the kingdom. The morning light came through the branches in thin lines, making the path glow in a quiet way. The air smelled of soil and old leaves. Every man on the patrol stayed alert, knowing the danger around them was real. Alex moved in front, did not try to lead by force. He just had a calm presence that the others trusted. He listened to the wind and watched for movement. He knew the people in the border villages depended on them. Back in the capital, Princess Lily stepped out into the training yard. She had not slept well. her mind kept returning to Alex. She did not understand why she remembered his face more clearly than anyone else. She watched the soldiers train, but she felt her thoughts drift again. The captain of the guard approached her and spoke about new patrol routes and defense plans, but Lily did not hear most of it. She kept thinking about the patrol team out near the border, about the shadows she knew moved in those woods. She hoped they were safe. Far from the capital, Alex and his patrol reached a small outpost. The guards there said the villages nearby had seen strange movement. Animals ran from the forest at night. People whispered about unknown figures. Fear spread fast, and Alex felt the weight of it. He took a small group and walked toward one of the villages to check on the families there. The path was narrow, lined with tall grass. The houses were simple, built from wood and stone. Alex knocked on doors, checked on the families, and offered calm words. He did not speak a lot, but people trusted his steady voice. As he walked back to the outpost, an urgent message arrived from the capital. The princess was being moved to a nearby safe shelter for a council meeting outside the city. The path she needed to travel went near the forests where Alex patrolled. The news made Alex uneasy. The roads were not safe, and he knew it better than most. The princess left the capital with a small guard. She sat inside the carriage, looking out the window at the fading city walls. She trusted her guard, but something inside her felt unsettled. She kept thinking about the stories of danger near the forests. The carriage moved down the narrow road, wheels rolling softly over the dirt. Birds flew from the branches above. The guard marched beside the carriage, eyes scanning the trees. Suddenly, the horses stopped. The road ahead looked empty, but something felt wrong. The guard lifted their weapons and moved forward. One of them signaled to check the area. Alex, who had been returning from the village, heard a loud noise. He turned toward the sound and ran without thinking. His patrol followed him. When they reached the road, they saw the princess's carriage surrounded by broken branches and disturbed earth. Something had moved through fast and strong. Alex rushed forward. The princess stepped out of the carriage with a guard near her side. When she saw Alex, her eyes widened in shock. She had not expected him to appear in the middle of danger. Before she could speak, a sudden attack came from the trees. Dark shapes rushed toward the road. The guard raised shields, but the enemy moved fast. Alex grabbed a fallen branch and blocked a strike. Another guard fell back. Alex pushed forward, taking the impact of another blow. Lily watched him fight with calm movements. There was no panic in him, no loud shout. He acted with purpose. He protected everyone without seeking attention. Alex stepped in front of Lily as one enemy rushed toward her. He blocked the attack and shoved the attacker back. The guard closed in behind him. After a long struggle, the attackers fled into the woods. The air went still. The guard checked for injuries. Lily stood frozen for a moment, staring at Alex. Her heart beat fast, but not from fear. She had seen many soldiers train, many show off, many claim bravery, but Alex had acted with simple courage. He had stepped between her and danger without a second thought. She walked toward him slowly. Alex looked down, unsure if he should speak. She said in a quiet voice that held no fear, "You came without being called." Alex answered in his steady way. He said he heard trouble and did what needed to be done. Lily felt that same quiet trust deepen inside her. For the first time, she understood why she could not forget him. As the guard prepared to move again, Lily stayed close to Alex. She felt safe near him, in a way she had never felt with any other soldier. And as the carriage began to roll forward again, Lily kept her eyes on him, knowing something had changed inside her forever. When the princess returned to the capital, the castle felt different to her. She walked through the halls with slow steps, thinking about the attack on the forest road and how Alex had stepped in front of her without fear. She replayed the moment again and again. She remembered his calm face, his steady hands, and the way he acted with no pride. She felt something growing inside her, something she could not ignore anymore. The council met early the next morning. The hall filled with voices speaking about danger, new defenses, and alliances. They were worried the attackers were getting stronger. They wanted the princess to make political choices. One council member said she needed to choose a partner from a noble house. Another said she must focus on strengthening her position. Lily listened, but their words felt far away. She kept thinking about Alex. She knew the council would not approve of a simple soldier, but she did not care about their plans. She cared about what she had seen with her own eyes. Outside the hall, Alex had returned to the training yard. His patrol rested, but he stayed behind to help younger soldiers. He showed them how to hold their shields and how to stand steady in a fight. He did not speak loudly or act like a hero. He just taught them with quiet patience. Some of the older soldiers watched him with respect. Others felt jealous, but said nothing.
Alex
did not notice. He only wanted everyone to be prepared because he knew danger would return. When Lily walked past the yard on her way to the balcony, she stopped. She watched Alex correct a young soldier's stance, placed the boy's hands gently, showed him how to balance his weight, and stepped back. The boy smiled when he understood. Alex nodded and moved to help the next soldier. Lily felt warmth rise in her chest. She knew then that her interest in him was not just admiration. It was deeper. It was a feeling she had never known before. She turned away before someone saw her watching. As the days passed, the kingdom grew tense. The border villages sent more reports of strange attacks. Families moved closer to the capital for safety. Soldiers trained from morning to night. Alex was called to join the main guard stationed near the castle entrance. It was a sign that his actions on the forest road had not gone unnoticed. He stood quietly at his post, unaware of the princess watching him from the window above. One afternoon, a young boy ran into the castle courtyard, crying that his mother was trapped in a collapsed house near the outer wall. The guard rushed to help, but the path was blocked by heavy debris. Alex arrived first. Without waiting for orders, he climbed into the wreckage. He pushed aside broken wood and stone until he reached the woman. He lifted her out with careful hands, even though dust filled his lungs. The crowd watched in silence. Alex set the woman down gently and told the boy she would be fine. Then he stepped back, not wanting attention. He cleaned the dust from his hands and returned to his post. Princess Lily had seen everything from the balcony. Her heart tightened. She saw how Alex acted with the same steady courage every time. He protected soldiers, mothers, children, and even strangers. He did not care about rank or reward. He cared about people. That evening, Lily walked into the grand hall of the castle. The council waited for her. They wanted her to choose a noble companion before the next gathering. They said she needed someone strong, someone with power and influence. Lily stood in front of them. Her voice stayed calm. She said she had made her choice, but she would not reveal it yet. She walked out of the hall before anyone could question her. Later, she went to the balcony again. The courtyard below was quiet except for a few soldiers finishing their tasks. Alex stood at his post, unaware that the princess watched him again. She felt the truth settle in her heart. She knew she could not choose a man for politics. She needed someone with courage, kindness, and a strong heart. Someone who protected without wanting anything in return. Someone who never pretended to be more than he was. Alex was all of that. As she watched him, she whispered to herself in a voice the wind almost carried away. She said that he was the man she wanted. She said that her choice was final. Deep inside, she knew the time would come soon when she would have to speak those words out loud to the whole kingdom. The morning sky over the capital looked heavy, showing that something dark was coming. Soldiers hurried across the yard, carrying gear and weapons. The sound of footsteps filled the air. Everyone felt the tension. Attacks on the border had grown stronger, and now danger was approaching the capital itself. Alex stood with a team of soldiers near the main gate. He checked their supplies and made sure everyone was ready. He did not raise his voice. He spoke in his calm way, reminding everyone to stay focused. The other soldiers listened to him, not because he had a high rank, but because they trusted him. Inside the castle, Princess Lily watched from her window. She saw how Alex moved among the soldiers, guiding them with quiet strength. Her heart tightened. She knew he would be sent into the worst part of the fight. She feared for him in a way she could not explain to anyone. Soon the alarm bell rang. Everyone froze. Then the sound grew louder, echoing through the city. The enemy had reached the outer walls. Alex and his team rushed toward the main gate. Smoke rose in the distance. People ran to their homes while soldiers formed lines. Alex felt his heartbeat steady, not fast. He told his team to stay close and move with purpose. The battle started near the east side of the capital. The enemy forced their way through the first line of defense. The Capitol guards struggled to hold them back. Alex led his team into the narrow streets where families were trapped. He pushed through fallen wood and broken carts. They found a group of children hiding inside a small house, the door blocked by debris. Alex pushed the broken frame aside and carried the youngest child out. His team helped the others. The children clung to him, shaking, but he stayed calm. Once they were safe, Alex and his team moved deeper into the chaos. Smoke made the air thick. Fires burned across rooftops. Alex heard someone shouting for help from across the street. He ran toward the sound. There he found a young girl trapped under a fallen beam. Her leg was pinned. She cried for her cousin, who stood helpless nearby. Alex knelt and checked the beam. It was heavy, but not impossible. He braced his shoulder under it and pushed with slow force. His muscles shook, but he did not stop. He lifted the beam enough for another soldier to pull the girl out. When she was safe, the girl said she had a message for the princess. She said the attackers were heading toward the inner walls. Alex knew that meant Lily was in danger. Meanwhile, inside the castle, Lily stood in the grand hall with the council. They wanted her to stay hidden until the battle was over. She refused. She said she would go to the lower courtyard to help the families arriving from the damaged areas. The council protested, but Lily walked past them. When she reached the courtyard, she saw wounded people arriving. She helped carry water and guided children to safety. She worked with steady hands, even though fear pushed at her heart. Suddenly, a loud crash came from the west gate. The guard shouted that the attackers had broken through. Panic spread. Lily looked around for someone she trusted, but she only saw frightened faces. Alex and his team rushed into the courtyard a moment later, covered in dust and smoke. When Lily saw him, relief washed over her so strongly she had to catch her breath. Alex saw her too. He hurried to her and asked if she was hurt. She shook her head. Before they could speak more, another wave of attackers pushed through the gate. Alex stepped in front of Lily without hesitation, shielding her from the danger rushing in. He led his team into the fight. He moved with precision, blocking attacks and pushing back the enemy. Lily watched him save the young cousin he had rescued earlier, pulling the boy out of the path of falling stone. The battle lasted long. Alex fought until the last attacker retreated. When the noise finally faded, the courtyard was filled with smoke and tired breaths. Lily walked toward Alex as he caught his breath. She stood in front of him, her heart pounding for reasons beyond the battle. She asked him why he kept risking himself for people he barely knew. Alex looked at her with calm eyes. He said that he could not walk away from anyone in danger, no matter who they were. He said it was simply the right thing to do. Lily felt the weight of his words. She understood the truth in them. She felt something inside her settle completely. In that moment, she knew her choice was final. Not because of the council, not because of duty, but because she had seen his heart in the hardest moments. She looked at him with quiet certainty. Alex did not know it yet, but the princess had already chosen him long before this day. And soon, the whole kingdom would hear her decision. The battle ended, but the kingdom did not rest. Smoke lifted slowly from the rooftops, and people stepped out into the streets with tired steps. They looked around at the damage, the broken walls, and the fallen stones. There was fear in their eyes, but also relief. They were safe for now. Inside the castle, the council gathered again. They wanted the princess to make an announcement. They believed she would choose a noble partner to strengthen the kingdom after the attack. They talked about alliances and power. They talked about noble families and high ranks. Princess Lily listened to them in silence. She stood near the window, watching the courtyard where Alex and the soldiers helped people clear debris. She saw Alex lift a fallen beam from a doorway and guide a family out. He spoke with calm words, helping them feel safe. He did not know she was watching, but she watched him with a steady heart. The council said she must choose someone today. They insisted the kingdom needed clarity. They insisted she needed to follow tradition. Lily turned away from the window. She walked toward the center of the hall. The council fell quiet. They waited for her decision. She looked at each of them. She spoke in a calm voice. Hey. She said she had already made her choice. She said she would not follow their plans or their list of noble families. She said her decision was her own, The council tried to object, but Lily lifted her hand slightly. Her voice stayed steady. She said they would hear her choice in the great courtyard where all could listen. The council had no chance to argue. She walked out of the hall, leaving them in stunned silence. In the courtyard outside, people gathered slowly. Families, guards, children, elders, soldiers from all ranks. They wanted to hear what the princess would say. Whispers moved through the crowd. Some expected a noble name. Others expected a political announcement. Alex stood near the side, helping repair a broken cart. He did not know the princess had called for the whole kingdom to gather. He worked quietly, as he always did. Then the castle doors opened. Lily stepped out, wearing a simple dress with no jewels. She moved toward the front of the courtyard, her steps slow and sure. The crowd fell silent. She looked over the people she loved and had sworn to protect. She looked at the tired soldiers who had fought so hard. She looked at the families who had survived the attack. And lastly, her eyes found Alex standing by the broken cart. Alex froze when he saw her looking at him, did not understand why her eyes were fixed on him in a crowd of so many. Lily took a deep breath. Then she spoke in a voice that carried across the entire courtyard. She said that the kingdom had faced great danger. She said that true courage had appeared not in high ranks or fancy titles, but in simple hearts, filled with honesty and bravery. She looked at Alex again. She said that in the darkest moments, one man had shown what real strength was. She said that he had protected the kingdom not for reward, not for power, but because he cared. The crowd turned to follow her gaze. They saw Alex standing still, his hands dusted with stone. Lily stepped forward, pointing toward him. She said in a strong, clear voice that this was the man she wanted. Said she chose him from all the soldiers. She said she would marry him. The courtyard erupted in gasps. Some soldiers stared wide-eyed. Some families whispered in shock. The council stood frozen. Alex felt the world stop around him. He could not move, could hardly breathe. He never expected this. He never even dreamed of it. Lily walked toward him slowly. When she reached him, she stood close enough to see the dust on his shirt and the surprise in his eyes. She told him she had seen his courage again and again. She told him she trusted him more than she trusted anyone. Alex finally found his voice. He said he was only a soldier. He said she deserved someone better. Lily shook her head. She said she did not want a title. She did not want a noble name. She said she wanted a man with a strong heart. She said she wanted him. The crowd stayed silent, waiting for his answer. Alex felt his chest tighten. He had never felt so overwhelmed. But he saw truth in her eyes, and he understood that she meant every word. He bowed his head slightly and said he would stand by her side if she truly wanted him. Lily smiled with quiet happiness. The crowd broke into cheers. Soldiers raised their hands. Families clapped. The council had no choice but to accept her decision. And so the story of the princess and the quiet soldier spread through the kingdom. It became a tale of courage, trust, and a choice made from the heart. Alex stood beside Lily, no longer just a soldier, but the man she had chosen above all others. And together, they faced a new future, strong and unbreakable.